Turns out some of you watching this don't know how to play this game. I don't intend to teach it to you. However, I think it's important to appreciate the game as it unfolds to know just how it ends. Oftentimes in board games, which this is, the end condition really affects the game. So we have the meta end condition. The winner gets the most points, second place gets the second most, and so on, and that'll be added to the next game. But to win this game, first thing you need to do is you need to understand dominance. So here is our story track, and that's kind of the main, this is the main actual board of the game. All of this other stuff, everything else kind of leads to this thing, this very one-dimensional thing. So here's the hero's story marker. Here are the Sauron's 3 story markers. He has his corruption marker, his one ring marker, and his military marker right here. So Sauron moves his markers via his plot cards. So if he has plot cards in effect, they'll move his story markers. The heroes move 2 every time. So when either 3 of Sauron's things get here, all 3 of them get past this space, or if any one story marker gets here, the game is over. Now, or basically, it triggers the end game. So the end game, first thing you do is you look at dominance. So dominance is basically, there's a calculation, and it's not quite this, but in general, it's the thing that's the closest to the end. You know, so if the hero's thing is closer to the end, they're dominant. If Sauron's piece furthest along story marker is closest to the end, he's dominant. If the dominant side has fulfilled their goal, which we know what the hero's goal is, which is to not be corrupt, they automatically win. If that's not the case, then what happens is there's a fight between one of the heroes and the ring wraiths, and the ring wraith's power is adjusted based on how things are on the story track, and then who wins the fight decides who wins. Let's get back to playing. It's Curly's turn, and he'll be moving these right now, actually. So first we'll move the 2, then we'll move the 1. Alright, Curly's turn as Sauron is finished. First of all, he had an event. The event made the Gandalf space all the sweeter. There's actually 3 favors sitting there now. It also put Theoden in Helm's Deep, which puts more stuff in here. We're getting kind of a clump of stuff right in here. Also, it made her lose a favor. Basically, everyone who had favor either had a choice of getting rid of the favor or getting some corruption. Scoots has a lot of favor, so she chose to do that rather than to become more corrupt. Otherwise, he put all his influence right here for some reason. And he also played this plot, a broken line of kings, right here. Now, he put it right in Lothlorien, where Aqualad is. He had no fear of doing that because Aqualad doesn't have any favor right now, so he's not really worried about Aqualad just getting rid of his plot right away. Nice plot for him. It moves it 2 spaces, and it also makes the haven location inhibited. It makes it so they can't rest or draw these special haven cards when they're in this haven, so it makes it so it's not so much a haven. They're still safe from ambush there, however. I decided, although there's no boat at stake, to still roll for turn order, because there still could be things that they're racing for, favor and whatnot. And it actually ended up being reverse order this time. So Aqualad scoots red tomato. So Aqualad, as per his plan, dove right in from Lothlorien to battle the mouth of Sauron. The combat did not work too well for him. First off, what actually got him was this corruption card that the mouth gave him upon engagement. That reduced his strength by 1, which lowered his maximum working strength because he used all his agility for strength to 7. If he had had 1 more strength, he would have been able to play a precision card instead of that last aim shot and maybe done more damage. But it turns out, since this charge card actually canceled the aim shot's effect, he wouldn't have been able to beat the Mouth of Sauron anyway. However, he got soundly defeated and a couple extra hits on him. He's down to 1 in his life pool. Rough battle for Aqualad. It could have gone the other way, but it didn't. He thought he had an easy battle against the mouth, but that corruption ability ended up being stronger than he anticipated. Real quick, I might have used some incorrect terminology there. When I said defeated, I think I said that Aqualad was defeated. He's not defeated, he just did not defeat his opponent. And basically what that means is he loses the rest of his turn. Nothing else bad happens to him though. Defeated, I forgot, is a particular term in this game meaning a very specific set of conditions. Namely, if they lose all the cards from their life pool and from their hand. That wasn't the case for Aqualad. He just got exhausted. He couldn't play, he couldn't fight anymore because he was feeling too weak from having fought in so much. He shot 3 arrows and that really tuckered him out. It's Scoot's turn for an uninteresting turn this turn. She basically just rested, got rid of her despondency, which allowed Sauron to move the leftermost piece 2 spaces instead of the normal 1 for resting because of the despondency. And then she moved a space. That's all she did. She couldn't do a lot though. She only had 4 cards in her hand. Now she has 3 because she moved a space. Moving presumably towards Barad-dûr. She's in the neighborhood. She figures it's not very well defended. It's a good time to finish her advanced quest. We'll see if she can make it. Big news for Red Tomato. He walked his Barivore there, and he got a horse. So now he has a horse and a boat. He should be able to move really fast. Too bad he doesn't have any favor or really anything that he could protect himself with. He considered briefly, actually for a while, rushing in to try and help out Aqualad with the mouth there. He ended up not doing it for 2 reasons. One, he thought, you know, if he had a chance of actually beating the mouth, Sauron would make him attack this. He doesn't get to decide what he fights. Sauron just has to decide that he fights something or is peril, but he can't be in peril there. So he could have had to fight this monster instead, which would have kind of defeated the purpose. And plus he didn't really have any good combat cards. So he got a horse. Okay, we're in the middle of Sauron's turn, Curly's turn, in the final round of turns in this stage of the game. We're going to be moving after this round to the next stage. And he has an interesting decision to make, so I thought I'd talk it through with you. He got this event card here. Where is it? He got an event card somewhere. I lost track of it. But basically what it did... Oh no, here it is. The Thieves of Tharbad. Okay, what it makes him do is he has to choose one of the heroes and move them to this space here, the mouth of the Grave Flood. So, his choices are, of course, the 3 heroes. Now, first of all, he can easily rule out Red Tomato's Barivore. And the reason why is he's just so mobile. To move him over there would actually maybe be a benefit to him because he could just pick up some favor and go. That would be good for him. Especially since it's on the mouth of a river and he has a boat. So he's not going to pick him. He could pick Aqualad, because Aqualad, there's really no real good reason to pick Aqualad. Aqualad's not in the best of condition right now. So that leaves Scoots. The reason he would want to pick Scoots is getting near Barad-dûr and he knows her quest is to go there. And he doesn't really have anything to stop her other than the peril that she'll get when she goes there. He, of course, can do some things this turn. However, it would be better if he could worry about his plots and not worry about her quest. He'd much rather do that. So his inclination would be defensively to choose her. However, that puts her nearer to these plots, which she's the only one who can really deal with them right now. So if he chooses to move her, he's going to have to get some monsters there, likely, is what I would think if I were him. Which I'm not. I'm not. But I think the real reason he's going to move her is this. She's the only one with favor. She doesn't seem inclined to share. If she doesn't pick up all this favor here, someone else is. If all the favor's on her, he can focus on physical threats and keep the heroes in check. Alright, Sauron has finished his turn, and along with moving Scoot's character right there, he did one thing to each of the gentlemen. He played the Storms of Mordor, which would have affected everyone had they had more than 5 cards. It only affected Aqualad, however, because although he had not defeated his opponent, all his cards were high strength, so he still had a lot of cards left in his hand, and then he had to lose another card because he was corrupted. So that hurt him, and then with his influence placing, he kind of boxed in Barivor right here, Red Tomato's character, with peril. So there's peril here for him, peril here for him, and there's a monster here. So whichever way he goes next turn, if he decides to leave Edoras, he's going to have some sort of consequence. This round we're going Red Tomato, Aqualad, Scoots. So Red Tomato sent Barivor in to try and help Aqualad out, realizing that Aqualad really needs to rest or get out of there or something. However, he's going to not be able to rest on his next turn, and he's going to get ambushed right away. So he was hoping he could come in and clear away the monsters. He got rid of one, but as you can see, he ended up using the remains of his resources. He just has 1 card left, so he's probably going to be sitting tight. Things are not looking good for Mooney's Aqualad. I'm really hoping that he'll find a boat sometime during this game and start doing really awesome, suddenly have his superpowers, have his origin story with a boat. I don't know how the boat will figure into it, but so since he's a scout, he got a chance to peek at what was going to attack him right before it ambushed him, and it was a giant spider, which is not fun for someone with just 5 cards and no life pool. Life pool, for those who don't know, is basically hit points. It's your stack of cards. So he would have had 5 cards to fight with and be his hit points. However, he got betrayed by this man with a lantern, and what that did was take 2 of his cards away and also make him lose a strength point for each corruption he has. He has 1 corruption already, which happens to be weak. Already takes away 1 of his strength points. So Aqualad is looking at, with his agility bonus, he's looking at 6 strength. Not too bad. Let's look at the cards he has to work with. I mean, he has exactly 6 strength worth of cards. So let's see what he can do against the giant spider. Unfortunately, we've run out of time for the night. We're left hanging with the quandary of what's going to happen with Aqualad and this giant spider. And who is the man behind him with the lantern? We'll have to find out next time on the Real People Multi-Game Solitaire Mega Tournament Middle-earth Quest.